Welcome to this week's Foundation Friday. I am joined today by Bob Cohen, partner at Morrit Hock and Hamroff, to discuss the Special Olympics. Thanks for joining me, Bob.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jesse, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate an opportunity to talk about the Special Olympics.
No, absolutely, sir. So you joined us at our EFC event that we had last New York. It's funny is I think I've known you in this industry since I've been in it for 17 years. And I had no idea that this was a passion project for you or that you sat on the board of Special Olympics New York. So,
well, it didn't first. Thank you. It didn't start that way, and we had a lot of it was interesting. I'll tell you about it. And it's my rise to this area came from a lot of different directions, so it was good. It was good.
Absolutely. So I'm sure a lot of people watching this are familiar with the term Special Olympics. Do you just mind just giving a little overview of what the Special Olympics is, and more importantly, like Special Olympics New York?
Sure. So what a lot of people are confused about with Special Olympics is it's not just for athletes with disabilities. It's for athletes with intellectual disabilities. So you've seen the Paralympic Games. Those are for athletes that have a physical impairment. Missing a leg, having a problem here, having a problem there. Special Olympics focuses on athletes with intellectual disabilities. And in order to qualify, you would have to have an intellectual disability. So that's the first thing that a lot of people don't realize. Special Olympic New York is among, if not the highest and largest chapter in the state. And it's got 51,000 athletes competing annually, which is an incredible amount. And the goals of Special Olympic, or the policy of Special Olympic, is very, very straightforward. There will be no cost to the athletes, their families, or their caregivers. So all the monies that are raised for Special Olympics, New York, and I believe all the Special Olympics across the country, are to pay for the athletes' training, and they're not fake games. This is not about the trophy for inclusion, the trophy for just competing. Okay, the consolation trophy. It's not that. They're real games, and that is a core policy to Special Olympics. They are not there to babysit. They're there to have absolute competitions, because through the competitions, people learn what it is to win, to lose, to get along, to cope. And one of the things that has been great about Special Olympics is the athletes learn skills that accompany them through life and make them better equipped to handle the reality of life. And that's very gratifying to raise money for an organization like that. There's so many great organizations out there. This is just one of them. But it's just so nice to see a group totally devoted to caring for the athletes. And the athletes are not just children. There are adults as well. So that's another misnomer. People just think it's for the children. It's for everyone who continues to compete.
So 51,000 people. Like, how many events do they have throughout the year?
Oh, there are, I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think at least 250 events. Okay, a year. Okay, it's crazy. It's a remarkable amount of competitions. And it was interesting, during COVID, it was obviously difficult because they had training issues, but the organization was very insistent, particularly on things like snowshoeing, where the people who did that really by themselves for the most of the time. And they were able to continue to train. And this is an important outlet for the athletes. It's where they have camaraderie, where they have friendships, where they have their life in many respects. And we did whatever we could to keep that going. In fact, it was even done virtually and with a lot of success, which was great.
It's great to hear. That's great to hear. And so how did you get involved with the Special?
So I do not have a direct link to a Special Olympian or even a friend or a family member with special needs, other than the friends I've met through Special Olympics. So I attended a golf outing for Special Olympics, um, and with somebody who was on the committee, and they got me on the committee the next year, and I liked what I was doing. I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and like most lawyers, didn't know when to shut his mouth. And therefore, they said, you know what, Bob, those are good ideas. Why don't you run it? And then about 15, 18 years ago, they made me the chair of the golf event. And I'm happy to say that for the last, I don't know, 10 years or so, we've been netting, 6 figures for the charity. And that's, I mean, those are real dollars that we're making for the athletes. And that's been fantastic. And I recently was given the honor of joining the board of directors for Special Olympics New York because of all the work I had done on the golf outing. And as a result of that, I'm still very much involved with the golf outing, but I've turned over the reins to somebody else to do more of the day-to-day. And that's been a great experience as well. You see the organization from a very high level, and you see the goals and passions for what they need to do, and I help them get there what they need to do. So it's a lot of fun.
That's fantastic, and just what I know about you, I can definitely see where it's like, okay, well, what's next? And it's a great honor. So congratulations for that, Bob.
Thank you.
So I know you mentioned the dollars that when people make a donation, they go directly to the training. Where else do donated funds go?
Well, quite frankly, anything that's necessary, okay, to put on the games and for the athletes. So the monies go there. I mean, obviously there are some expenses associated with the charity, but I'm very proud of the fact that Special Olympics New York earned, and let me get the exact name of this here, the Platinum Seal of Transparency from GuideStar.com, making it one of the most trusted charities in the country nationally. So the monies get to where they need to go, or you don't earn, the platinum status. So that's great, and it's great to see that. They also have a program that I think is really fantastic through all of Special Olympics, but I'm familiar with it in Special Olympics New York, and that is the Unified program. And the Unified program is where students with and without mental challenges or intellectual disabilities compete together on the same teams. So they're a team of both Special Olympians and just student athletes. And through those relationships and through those practices and that competition, the students, both with and without intellectual disabilities, tend to hang out together, and they see each other in school and out of school. And it's really the definition of inclusion, which is now a hot word, okay, in the country today. But this is really showing it how it works. When I grew up, people with challenges were put in separate classrooms and away from everybody else, and sort of made them like separate and apart, and you never really got to know them as people. Now those walls are being broken down. It's a fantastic, a real fantastic tribute to the people at Special Olympics who've created the program. They're all in New York. There are over 250 schools participating in the Unified program, and they're incredibly successful and just growing more and more.
That's great. I mean, not to get off topic here, but Chandler National, where Jeremy played Little League, they have a challenger division, and that's basically what that is. But it's para athletes and special needs athletes on a team playing against regular kids, and they're competing, helping one another around, and watching that and just seeing act is fantastic.
Very rewarding for everybody involved. And listen, many of us who have children see our children compete in normal circumstances, and it's stressful, and we have a lot of pride, and when they win and when they lose, we have to cope with it. If you're the parent of a child with intellectual disabilities, I'm sure it's even more gratifying to see that, not just competing with other people that have mental challenges, but to be, quote, mainstream in the sense that they're like everybody else. And quite frankly, in many respects, they are very much like everybody else. And there's a couple of areas that they're different, but other than that, they're the same. And it's fantastic to see. It's fantastic.
Spot on. So when people in equipment finance watch this interview, what can they do to make a difference to the Special Olympics, Bob?
Well, clearly, Special Olympics New York, if it's ny.org, I can speak firsthand that they're a marvelous organization where the money's going where it should be, to the athletes. We're one of the largest chapters in the country. And like everybody else, okay, they can use funds. Obviously, Special Olympics across the country is also very much well-deserving. And if that's an area that you're more interested in, certainly make a donation, and you'll feel good about it, which is great. In fact, a great story. When I first started hosting the golf outing, we introduced bringing athletes to the event because we felt that was just as important to have that sense of inclusion. And there are some athletes that became celebrities, where everybody knew them year after year. And one thing that seems to be consistent with many of them, they have a way of showing affection in a way that you cannot imagine until you've been around them. Like, I see someone I haven't seen for a year, they come up and they give me a bear hug, like I'm their father, and they see me once a year. And it's just so warm and incredibly gratifying. And if you've never experienced that, go to an event. You'll see it all over the place. It's really very much rewarding.
Well, excellent. Well, I really appreciate your time today, talking about the Special Olympics New York, Bob, and hopefully our paths cross sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you having us, and everybody go out there and support Special Olympics. Thank you.
Thank you.